Hi everyone, welcome back to the English channel. Are you learning English? Good, because today's lesson comes with a story that might surprise you. Stay with me. This one has history, drama, and a few truths most people don't talk about. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Ready? Let's start.
1. Introduction. What is the White House? You've probably seen the White House in movies or on the news. From the outside, it looks calm, almost ordinary, just a white building. But behind those walls, decisions are made every day that can change lives across the world. Some people admire it. Others question it. Either way, the White House is one of the most powerful symbols in America, and not everyone agrees on what that power means. 2. Before the White House. At the very beginning of the United States, there was no official presidential home. The country was new, uncertain, still figuring itself out. When George Washington became the first president, he didn't move into a palace or a grand residence. Instead, he lived in rented houses, first in New York City, then later in Philadelphia. These were normal homes, practical, modest, not designed for power or history, just places to live and work. But people soon felt uneasy about that. How could a new nation look strong without a proper home for its leader? The president needed somewhere to meet world leaders, host guests, and represent the country. America needed a symbol, something that showed confidence, respect, maybe even authority. The country needed a presidential home. 3. A new capital city. In 1790, Congress made a decision that would shape the future. They agreed to build a completely new capital city. It would be called Washington, D.C., named after George Washington himself. The location was carefully chosen between northern and southern states, partly for unity, partly for politics, and honestly, partly prevent conflict. President Washington personally helped select the site for the president's future residence. The location sat on Pennsylvania Avenue, linking the president's house with the Capitol building. That road would later witness protests, celebrations, controversy, and history in the making. 4. Designing the president's house. In 1792, Congress announced a design competition. Architects from different places sent plans for what the president's house should look like. Some designs were grand and ambitious. Others were simple. But one design stood out. From James Hobben, an Irish architect. His plan was balanced, elegant, and strong without looking excessive. Clean lines, classical style, dignified but not overwhelming. People liked it immediately. That design became the starting point of what we now call the White House. 5. Building the house. Construction began in 1792. For a young nation with limited resources, this was a huge project. It demanded money, labor, and patience. Many workers were skilled craftsmen, builders, carpenters, stonemasons. But here comes the uncomfortable truth. Enslaved people also did much of the hardest labor. They cut stone, carried heavy materials, and worked long, exhausting hours. Their contribution was crucial, yet history often overlooked it. The walls were built from white sandstone brought from Virginia, transported by boat and cart. Scottish masons carefully placed each stone. The process was slow, physically demanding, sometimes dangerous. Eventually, that white stone gave the building its famous color, and unknowingly, its identity. 6. The first presidents. George Washington started the project, but he never lived there. He died in 1799, just 1 year before completion. Many Americans felt the irony. The man who inspired the house never stepped inside it. In 1800, the second president, John Adams, moved in with his wife Abigail, but the house was far from finished. Rooms were empty, walls unpainted, and rain sometimes leaked through the roof. It wasn't comfortable at all. Abigail Adams even used one large room just to dry laundry. Despite the discomfort, moving in sent a message. The new capital was real, and America finally had a presidential home. 7. Improving the house. In 1801, Thomas Jefferson became president, and he cared deeply about architecture and design. He believed the president's home should feel welcoming, not intimidating. Working with architect Benjamin Henry Latrobe, Jefferson added column walkways on both sides of the house. These provided shelter and discreetly hid storage areas and stables. He also purchased furniture and decorations, choosing elegance over luxury. Jefferson planned gardens, planted trees, and slowly transformed the building into a more comfortable, graceful residence. 8. Fire and War, 1814. Then came a shocking moment. In 1812, America went to war with Great Britain. By 1814, the conflict reached Washington, D.C. British troops entered the capital and burned several important buildings. The president's house was set on fire. Flames destroyed furniture, books, decorations, almost everything inside. Thick smoke blackened the walls. Only the heavy stone structure survived. For many Americans, this was humiliating and painful. Some feared it showed weakness. Others saw it as a test the nation had survived. 9. Rebuilding and hope. Instead of giving up, Americans chose to rebuild. The house represented more than bricks. It symbolized resilience. James Hobben returned to oversee reconstruction. Damaged walls were repaired, interiors rebuilt, and new materials brought in. It took years of work, persistence, and belief. In 1817, President James Monroe moved into the restored residence. The White House lived again, arguably stronger, both physically and symbolically. 10 new entrances and beauty. After Reconstruction, presidents wanted the building to reflect strength and dignity. In the 1820s and 1830s, large porticos were added to the north and south sides. Tall white columns gave the house a grand, almost palace-like appearance. Visitors could arrive with ceremony and protection from weather. International guests were impressed. Americans felt pride. The house had survived war and destruction, and now looked even more confident. 11. Changes over time. As decades passed, each president left a mark. Some upgraded furniture, others redecorated rooms, or introduced new styles. Technology evolved too, heating, lighting, repairs. The White House was never truly finished. It kept changing with history, politics, and personal taste. 12. A big change, the West Wing. In the early 1900s, President Theodore Roosevelt made a major change. Until then, work and family life happened in the same space, causing confusion and stress. Roosevelt decided to build a separate workspace, the West Wing. It housed offices, meeting rooms, and staff areas. Suddenly, presidential work became more organized, and family life gained privacy. 13. Working and living spaces. The most famous room in the West Wing became the Oval Office. Oval in shape, symbolic in status. It's where crucial decisions happen. Now, the White House had two clear roles, the West Wing for work, the residence for home life. Presidents could finally separate duty from family time. At least a little. 14. The house in danger. By the late 1940s, a new crisis appeared. The building, over 150 years old, was deteriorating. Floors shook, walls cracked, doors misaligned. Engineers feared structural collapse. At one event, a chandelier even swayed dangerously, alarming guests. President Harry Truman realized the risk. He made a difficult call. His family had to leave. They moved across the street to Blair House. For the first time, the White House stood empty. Something drastic had to happen. 15. A new, strong White House. Reconstruction began. Workers preserved the historic exterior, but removed almost everything inside. New steel beams, modern wiring, plumbing, heating, cooling. Essentially a new building hidden inside old walls. After years of work, Truman returned in 1952. From outside, nothing seemed different. Inside, everything was saved for a stronger and ready for future. 16. Life inside today. Life in the White House is unique. It's both a home and a workplace. Presidents start early, reading reports and meeting advisors. Days are filled with calls, decisions, and international meetings. Evenings bring family time, dinner, homework, relaxation. Despite the fame, family routines still matter. 17. The people behind the scenes. Hundreds of staff keep the White House running. Chefs cook meals. Housekeepers maintain rooms. Security officers protect everyone. Gardeners care for outdoor spaces. Administrative staff manage schedules and communication. Their work often goes unnoticed, but without them, the system wouldn't function. 18. Famous rooms. The Oval Office remains the most recognized workspace. The East Room hosts ceremonies and speeches. The Rose Garden provides calm moments and press events. The Situation Room handles emergencies and national security discussions. These spaces define the building's influence. 19. The White House and the people. Technically, the White House belongs to the American people. Many citizens feel connected to it emotionally. Visitors from across the world tour its halls each year. For some, it represents democracy and hope. For others, it represents power and debate. Either way, it's deeply symbolic. 20. Then and now. Early White House life was basic. Candles were light, poor heating, limited comfort. Today, it's equipped with advanced technology, secure communications, and strong security systems. Guards, cameras, and controlled access protect both the president and visitors. 21. Fun facts. There are more than 130 rooms inside. There's a small movie theater, a bowling alley, sports areas, even recreational facilities. These details remind people that presidents are human too. They relax, play games, and unwind like anyone else. 22. The White House today. Today, it's a busy modern hub. Technology supports fast decisions. Security operates around the clock. Yet remains a home where families live, eat, relax, and adapt the space to their needs. Each president adds subtle changes, ensuring the building evolves with time. 23. Final message for learners. The White House began as a simple structure. Over time, it adapted, survived crises, improved, and grew stronger. Learning English works the same way. At first, it feels difficult. Words are unfamiliar. Progress seems slow. But every new word is a brick. Every sentence builds confidence. Mistakes are part of the process. Even strong structures need repairs. Stay patient. Keep practicing. One day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. And before you leave, if you learned something today, give this video a like. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe. Your support helps create even better English lessons for you. Thank you. Seriously, it means a lot.